Good morning, Sharmila. It's a chaotic Sunday.
Okay.
How is your
I was like-
right eye? Or is it your left eye?
It's my right eye. Probably I need at least a couple more surgeries.
Anne was telling me that she had talked to you.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm trying to convince them to let me try an experimental treatment.
Fingers crossed on that.
So
I may look like I'm running around with my head cut off today, because I am.
Yeah.
Music Gen is home with a sick kid.
yeah.
And so the choir and the AV staff and I have just been running around. And
Casey, my board announcer.
Casey's your board announcer.
Where hearing cards will be done?
I will do those.
You gonna do them? Because they were trying to tell me I'm supposed to do them at the end of the service. And
No,
I just
I've
said
got
I'm gonna
that.
talk to them for there.
I've got that. No, you're covered.
All right.
You're covered.
So are we starting at 10?
We're just going to start in a couple minutes because traffic was so bad.
Okay. Should we let people know? Should
Like-
we let people know? Should we let people know that?
Yeah, we should. Good morning, everyone. We're going to be starting in a couple minutes, not at the crack of 10 o'clock, which is now, simply because traffic was so bad for so many people this morning. So bear with us. We'll begin in just a minute or two.
So I have to go give something to Casey. They wanted this announced. So.
Great.
All right. So is there anything I can do to calm
I think we're all good.
matters?
I think we're all good. Bonjour, mes amis. Good morning, one and all. Welcome, everyone, to the weekly Sunday service of the First Unitarian Congregation of Ottawa. Whether you are here in Worship Hall or watching from wherever you may be, you are welcome here. I'm the Reverend Eric Meter, the congregation's lead minister, and I'm thrilled to be with you all on such a spectacularly gorgeous, if chilly, autumn Sunday morning. We're starting a little late because traffic is what traffic is, and you will notice that we're without the younger ones this morning because they're downstairs enjoying messy church, with starts with pancakes and strawberries and pineapple and milk, and they're having a great time. And as soon as we're done, I'm going to run down to see if there are any more pancakes left. You're supposed to laugh. That was a laugh line. One thing before we jump into the service is that our music director, Jen, is not with us this morning. Her daughter, Rennie, was sick this morning, and so they are all staying home. So we are, in the technical term, punting with music. Our fusion choir is still with us. They will endeavor to sing a cappella, and we will have a couple of videos that I will invite you to sing along to. So let us sit back, make sure we're comfortable in our seats, and let us enjoy our time together this morning. And so because we have a video, I'm going to ask you just to stay seated as we sing together. Which one do we have, Julia? Are we doing both or just How Could Anyone? Gather the Spirit. Thank you. Sing along. It's number 347. now let's sing one more song now, How Could Anyone? And this is a song we will be singing later in the service as well. So you can count this one as a warm-up. Julia?
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How
Once again, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the First Unitarian Congregation of Ottawa. My name is Sharmila, and I am delighted to be your worship associate this morning. Whether you are taking part in this worship celebration from your home or wherever else you may be, whenever you may log on, you are welcome here. We acknowledge that our First U campus is located on traditional, unsurrendered, and unceded Algonquin Anishinaabe territory, and that the work of reconciliation is a responsibility of our congregation and of all Canadians. Our goal is to educate ourselves and all who have the willingness to understand, to be of service to those who are at risk, and to advocate for justice. Do take care and take advantage of online opportunities at First U to stay in touch during this protracted pandemic. If you are new to First U and would like to learn more about us, please contact us through our email at welcome@firstunitarianottawa.ca. And if you are right here with us in Worship Hall this morning and you would like more information about First U, it is available at the welcome table at the back of the pews. And now I'd like to invite Casey Price from our board to highlight our announcements for today. Casey?
Good morning again. All right. Please come to Reverend Eric's official installation ceremony next Sunday. It's at 4 p.m. here, but you have to pre-register. Oh, yes, 23rd. Sorry, I was looking at the 4th, which of course is Tuesday. 23rd, apologies. But do RSVP. You have until Wednesday to do so. You can RSVP at installation@firstunitarianottawa.ca. Next, there's a new monthly drop-in program for ages 11 to 17. It's starting on Friday, October 14, from 6 to 9 p.m. If you'd like more information or if you would like to help today's youth become adults of tomorrow, please contact OWL as in OWL, at firstunitarianottawa.ca. The Fall Fair is back. Please mark your calendars for November 12. You can help with this huge First U event fundraiser. Carol Card and Eva Beringer will be looking for volunteers. Just keep an eye on the EUU for details. Next and last, or no, second to last, apologies. There's a Leadership Council meeting on Tuesday. It's a Zoom link, which I believe is posted in the EUU. If it's not and you want to find out more, you can just see me after the service. I'll be happy to give you more information. There'll be a viewing of a video called The Necessary Trouble Collective, where you'll be asked to consider giving up assuming that your intentions matter more than the impact of your actions. And last, I'm surprised to hear that there's still more leafy greens available. So please, if you haven't already done so, at the end of the service in the volunteer room, the sign literally just fell as I pointed. There's leafy greens free for the taking. So please take advantage of this lovely offer. And that's it.
Thank you, Casey. I also want everyone to know that you are invited to our online fellowship hour for informal discussion and updates regarding our community. It will begin at 11:30. For those who would like to access fellowship hour here, you can do so in the lounge. There you'll be able to connect with all of those joining fellowship hour from home. I'd now like to invite Donna for some announcements from the Environmental Action Group.
Thanks, Sharmila. Well, it's been a real week of environmental upheaval and discussion about Canada's lack of readiness for adaptation and resilience in the face of further expected catastrophic climate events. However, still, the municipal elections are drawing closer, and the Eco Debate last week provided a variety of positions on climate action from the 5 candidates for mayor. If you missed it, it was recorded, and next week we'll have it in the EUU and the CAP, the climate action page for you. And talking about the climate action page, I hope you're clicking over to look at what's going on. Besides our new advocacy supporting energy evolution, see a couple of new upcoming events and the October good news items. Learn about generous and eco-friendly billionaires, the surprising supporter of pollinator gardens, and why geologists are seeking out hidden volcanoes. Anyway, take a look at it and have a good week.
Thank you, Donna. During the continuing pandemic, we encourage you to sign up to receive the EUU, our weekly email newsletter. Check our Facebook page and our Instagram page and our webpage for notices and updates. Our calendar continues to be as full as ever, though many of our activities still take place online. Whatever your heritage, whatever your faith, whomever you love, and however you identify, today you are part of our spiritual community. Welcome.
Thank you, Sharmila. This morning, we light our chalice to these words adapted from those from Starhawk. We are all longing to go home to some place we have never been, a place perhaps half remembered and half envisioned, we can only catch glimpses of from time to time. Community. Somewhere, there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere, a circle of hands will open to receive us. Eyes will light up as we enter. Voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength. Strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter. A circle of hands, a circle of friends, someplace where we can be free. Come, as we have gathered, let us worship together. As we gather, we take a moment now to celebrate the joys and sorrows, the triumphs and challenges of our lives amid the backdrop of the events of the world. Last week, I talked about something called Fiona. This week, something called Ian. Beautiful names, whose meaning will be changed forever. Never underestimate the power of Mother Nature. Never. On a different note, a happy one, Joel, forgive me. For each joy or sorrow recognized, we drop a stone into water because the ripples will expand beyond this bowl, beyond this room, beyond all of our lives. A stone for those affected, such a milquetoast word by hurricane and storm Ian. The lives, human and other, that have been challenged at best or lost. And now a stone of joy and celebration to Joel, son of our community member Terry. Joel has designed Canada's new toonie coin, commemorating the 50th anniversary of the Canada versus Russia hockey series 50 years ago, where in Moscow, Canada won the last 3 of their 4 games. Joel's initials, JK, appear on the coin. How cool is that? The news caught at least one of us this morning. This is a stone for a woman I don't think any of us met named Savannah, who was shot and killed by the police in San Bernardino County, California. Too much loss of life, too many instinctual decisions that end stories far too soon. A little closer to home, a stone for our own Harriet, who has suffered an aneurysm and is now back home recuperating after being in hospital. Further details in a card for Harriet are on the caring table at the back of our hall. And a stone also for Pauline, wife of Jack and mother of Nadine, Tony, Colin, and Peter, who passed away last month. We hold all of them in our care and deep love. And the last stone this morning, for all the joys and sorrows, struggles and celebrations still residing quietly in the silent sanctuary of our hearts. For all this and more, we gather. Let us take a moment now in stillness and silent meditation. Thank you, Julia. That was a most excellent choice. Today is one of those confluence or crossroads Sundays. We are in the midst now of the high holy days of the Jewish year, a time of doing what we can to make amends in order to find a sense of atonement, at one-ment, being at one with others, and our sense of what is both sacred, both within and beyond us. Today also marks here in Canada the start of Mental Health Awareness Week. And this morning also marks the kickoff to our congregation's annual pledge drive. Now that's a fair amount for one morning, even as beautiful a morning as this, though we can hold the fullness of it all. In many ways, being in right relationship with one another and what we understand of the ways of our core being and ultimate reality has much to do with our health and what is possible for us, both as individuals and as members of a larger community. So let's begin again, as best we can, in loving and respectful relationship, in honor of the Jewish roots of our faith tradition. Will you please join me now? Is there someone from Fusion Choir that can help the congregation with the refrain, singing, "We forgive ourselves and each other, we begin again in love"? This piece is number 1037 in your teal hymnal. This is one of those call and response things. I will lead, and then there is a line for you to sing back. Do you trust yourselves? That's a big question, I know, this early in the day. Give myself a little more space. We begin again in love. Have you found it? Are we ready? All right. For trying to earn the love of others by working to be perfect and always in control instead of risking vulnerability. Thank you. For the times when we have spoken irresponsibly, unaware of our impact. For the times when a sense of guilt or muffling shame kept us rigid, righteous, or resentful. For any time our comfort with our lives has kept us from seeing the real lives of others. For all the promises we spoke in good faith but were not ready to fulfill. For falling short of the admonitions of the Spirit. For those and for so many attitudes and acts, both obvious and subtle, which have fostered the illusion that we are truly separate from each other. Thank you. Thank you. And now we have a presentation from members of our congregation's Mental Health Action and Support Group. Let's welcome them forward.
Where do you want to put this?
Well, we can put it right there.
This year, Mental Illness Week runs from October 2nd to the 8th, 2022. The following slides are prepared by the Canadian Alliance on Mental Illness and Mental Health. First one, there is no health without mental health. The Canadian public is gradually becoming more aware of this fact. We envision a country where all Canadians' mental health is supported. Sadly, this is not the case today. 1 in 3 Canadians say they are struggling with their mental health. Major implications for all Canadians and their institutions, including First U. 32% of Canadians aged 18 to 34 say they need mental health but can't access it. This is clearly a significant problem. 1 in 3 Canadians will be affected by mental illness in their lifetime. I consider caregivers in this number. 40% of Canadians aged 18 to 34 say they feel like they're at the breaking point mentally. I've become aware over the years of apparently well-adjusted young adults experiencing major stress. It is time we had parity in funding between mental health, substance use health, and physical health. Then there's a few pictures. First one is Johnny Gall and me at the WOW event. WOW stands for Working on Wellness. It was held on September 16th, 2022, and organized by CAPSA, the Community Addictions Peer and Support Association. And the next one is myself and Marina Canajeo, a member of a mental health support action group and a resident and board member of ANCORA, an organization that First U has supported since its inception. Marina, Reverend Linda, Johnny, and myself met many community activists that day and introduced them to First U and ANCORA.
So what does the Mental Health Support and Action Group do? We increase awareness of mental illness and mental health issues by the following 6 things. Firstly, we provide a listening presence and mutual support to those of us living with mental health challenges and to those of us who are caregivers of loved ones with these challenges.
Educating our congregants and community on the nature of mental illness and the role of caregivers, as well as the importance of affordable, accessible, and supportive housing.
We also support ANCORA's mission through activities such as educational events, volunteer support of the ANCORA residents, and fundraising.
Encouraging governments and other stakeholders to address the needs for mental health services.
We partner with individuals, faith groups, and other organizations.
Finally, championing a compassionate society free from inequities, stigma, and discriminatory practices that exclude those living with mental health challenges.
Thirdly, we've organized a mental health first aid course, which actually we organized a couple of years ago, and it's happening again in October on the 22nd and 29th. Those are Saturdays from 9 to 4. It's a 12-hour course that the Mental Health Commission of Canada has created, and the idea is that we spend that time learning about the concept of first aid training to include mental health problems. This is so that community members are empowered to provide better initial support to someone who is developing a mental health problem, has a worsening of an existing mental health problem, or is in a mental health crisis. So you're welcome to join up. There's a sign-up folder. Remember where the Red Book used to be? Out by the that room, the lounge. There's a little table and some bulletin boards, and there's a blue folder there that you can sign up if you're interested and if you want more information Also, you can email myself or I think the Mental Health Support and Action Group, we have our own email address. I don't know how that all works, but anyway, there is information in the EUU as well. Thank you so much for your time. We're good. Take our friends back. Oh.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Reverend Linda. I am so glad to know that no animals were harmed in the production of this worship service. Let me ask you this. Is there anyone here who woke up this morning saying, I feel like dressing up just a bit and going to church? 1, 2, 3. Oh, my Lord. You have dumbfounded me. Not for the first time. I was about to say that no one comes to church because they just feel like dressing up a bit on Sunday morning. We come to church because we need something. Now, that something will vary from person to person, from season to season of our lives. Some come because their children have begun asking questions that are proving ever more challenging to answer. Some come to church to be part of a community, to fill something or touch something that they feel they have lost or simply long for. The needs that bring us together in communities of faith will vary, but there are consistent themes. I can't speak to the experience here that Sunday after the September 11th terrorist attacks in the nation to our south, but I remember that Sunday clearly. It was to have been a Sunday off. Plans had to change. In the congregation that I served, a worship hall about half to a third of this size, was absolutely packed. The long-timers were there, but about half were people we had never seen before. They needed to be together to reflect on what had happened and how we would live in this new reality. I remember also back even earlier, years earlier, to the first memorial service I had ever attended in a church. I was 9. After at least a year of attempts, my Uncle Dave had successfully taken his own life at the age of 26. Please, people, never underestimate the danger of depression or the importance of what groups like our mental health support and awareness group are all about. They not only improve lives, they save lives every single day. The effect of my uncle's suicide still ripples through my family today. And like I said, I was 9. That was 49 years ago now. And the main memory I have of that memorial service was seeing my father, that strong bastion of rational, manly, sometimes angry energy, wail with his mouth open in grief. I did not know people could do that. I did not know men could grieve like that. The moment was one, looking back, of initiation on what it meant to be human for me in my 9-year-old incarnation. I think of my grandparents in the aftermath of their son's death. My grandfather, who was a lawyer, who led the National Labor Relations Board's office in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So he was a lawyer and supervisor. Stayed stoic, at least from my memory. He never confided in me. I was young. After his death, I talked more to my grandmother. Margaret Graham, as I called her, called the county, I should say, Hennepin County, and said, I'm going to start a support group for families of those who have lost loved ones to suicide. And the county said, we don't have money in our budget for that. We can't provide counselors. And she said, no. I just want you to put it on the calendar. We're doing this for ourselves. This is going to be peer run. We don't need any fancy counselors. We're not wanting to spend more tax dollars. We're going to do this for ourselves. And at least as it has come to me, and I admit this is anecdotal, but looking back over family photographs, my grandfather never smiled the same way after Dave's death. There were pictures of him, I'm sure, he loved hot toddies, and I'm sure he had a few on New Year's night, the pictures of him at the staff office New Year's parties, he must have been drunk as a skunk, but he was happy and joyful. But after Dave's death, there were no pictures of him smiling with anything more than just a little smile. My grandmother smiled after that. I remember her last birthday party. She wore blue shorts and ate ice cream. She dealt with Dave's death. She gave herself and others space to grieve. And then, 31 years ago now, Mom asked me to formally announce to the congregation that my father had died. He had lost his struggle with pancreatic cancer. And so in that church, smaller than this one, you stood up and lit a candle and said a few words for joys and sorrows. And I realized I needed to figure out what I was going to say. And so what I did was I thanked the congregation for supporting, loving, and challenging my father, because that helped make him the person he longed to be. It made him a better father to my brother and I think perhaps even a better husband to our mom. What we do together in religious community matters. It's not always visible, it's not always easy to see. But the fabric is strong when we're doing church right. The fabric is strong. Now, I told Terry and Larry, our pledge drive leaders, that I was going to speak on generosity. So let me do that before I turn it over to them. It was generosity. I mentioned to the congregation in Illinois that, and I think that when I thanked them for their love, challenge, and support, I didn't think to ask them or thank them for their generosity, but it really, at heart, it was their generosity that helped make my father the person he longed to be, including a better father for my brother and I. When we come together, we can do anything we set our minds to. We may not be able to do everything, but we can do anything. And I want you to know that I've been, as the installation, our installation, not my installation, our installation, coming up on October 23rd. Please do RSVP. When I've been talking to colleagues, and I'm talking a lot who are going to be here and be part of that service, I said, I'm telling them I have never been more proud of the courage of the congregation I'm serving, because that's true. The endeavor that we are beginning with Ontario Aboriginal Housing Services, for them to manage a new structure, low-income housing on this property, that's a brave thing to undertake. It is going to challenge us. We are going to learn. There will be aches and pains. But my Lord, think of the pride that we will be able to feel in years to come. I couldn't be more proud of being with all of you. And now I'm going to invite Terry to come forward and talk to us a little more about this thing called the Pledge Drive. And let me just say that if you haven't already made out your pledge, please do so. And please join my wife Ann and I in being as generous as you can be. Thank you. Terry?
Larry, do you want to join me? Good morning, all. There were so many little nuggets in the previous parts of this service this morning that I kind of picked up on, like we come to church because we need something. But to be callous, church needs something from you too. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the pledge campaign, which kicks off today. You'll be happy to know that even though it kicks off today, many of you will have received a package in the mail. Many have responded, such that we are 15% of our way to meeting our financial goal already. Now that's pretty typical of this congregation. We kind of have this real quick sweep up in terms of our pledges, and then it kind of levels out and trickles along for a while. But it's good to know that we're off to a good start. So if you receive that package in the mail, have a look at it. It's pretty thorough. There's a lot of information there, a lot of reading, a lot of forms to fill out. One of them is the pledge form, obviously. So I realize that for many of you, using mail is kind of old school, but it's the best way for us to ensure that everybody gets the package and gets to see the materials in the pledge form. I should say that for those who didn't receive the mail package or prefer computer-based information, all of this can be found online, including the pledge form. So I just went to firstunitarianottawa.ca. Under the search function, the little magnifying glass, I hit pledge or typed in pledge, and I got all the information. So if you have not received the package, or in fact, if you're new to us and are interested in supporting this congregation financially, then go through that process. Also, if you're new to us, you maybe don't understand what pledging is. Pledging is your commitment to what you will do for us financially next year. So it doesn't have anything to do with 2022. And if you're submitting any funds related to the pledge form this year, you have to predate them, or you have to predate them to 2023. So this is a 2023 campaign. Post-date them? Post-date. I don't know. Post. So the pledge actually, what it does is it supports our board and our finance manager in understanding what's coming up next year and what they can plan for. So knowing how much money is coming in from the congregation and our financial director as well, of course, needs to know this information. Your pledges only support about 65% of the total funds required by this congregation. So we need to top it up with things like the fall fair and things like rentals of the facility for various things. By the way, when you go to that website, you'll also find testimonials. And testimonials are, there's a number of them there that are our congregation talking to you about what they feel, what they benefit from this congregation and why they make a financial contribution to support, again, the community, as Reverend Eric commented. So to start our pledge campaign, we've placed the pledge box here just below me at the dais. We'll be posting a thermometer regularly that will tell you where we are towards our goals, and the goals are both the amount of money that we receive towards our target, as well as the participation being important. So even if you can't give, we'd like you to tell us that, because we have ways to manage that within the process as well. So at this time, what I'd like to do is invite all of those who have a pledge form with them to please come forward and drop it in the pledge box. And we have some proxy walkers. There are some folks who couldn't make it today, so we do have some proxy walkers who will put a pledge form in for them. So thank you for your generosity.
below our normal collection. If you have a donation for the church that is a non-pledge donation, I encourage you to make that as you exit the room following our service. Let us sing together the song we sang before. This will be our closing song. Once again, How Could Anyone? If you want the music, it's 1053 in your teal hymnal, but you know the words are up there as well.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
It's good to sing along together. Before we close this time of worship and reflection, a reminder that our online fellowship hour will begin at 11:30. For those who would like to access fellowship hour, you can do so in the lounge at that door and around to your right. There you'll be able to connect to all those joining fellowship hour from home and have discussions with those joining in person. And as we extinguish our chalice now, let these words inspired by Barbara Hamilton Hallway guide us forward. She wrote these words, or the words I base this on, for a wedding. So you may hear a reflection of that makes sense. The words are so powerful, I think they describe love in general as well. Deeply regard each person you encounter. Listen to what they say and what is left unsaid. Speak what you must speak. Be ready to disarm your own heart. Rejoice in the love that is possible. Uncross your arms. Lean toward your neighbor. Love is everywhere if we help make it so. Our chalice is extinguished, but the spark of our connections and faith remains. Mariella, will you help us sing once more? remain open and our minds remain clear. We are people of both reason and heart, of both memory and hope. May we also remain people of love, providing a place in this world for our spirits, a place best called home. As now we return to the challenge of helping the world come alive in love, let us go forward in peace, my friends. Go in peace. Amen.
Living in a world so cold, with so many lost all hope, they don't know where to go. We need a miracle to recognize the power of giving from the heart. It'll go so far. Looking around me, all I see is creation longing for love, hoping assurance and a friend, someone to trust. Humanity, it's an emergency. Look all around you, can you see what I see? We need more generosity. We need more generosity. More love for you and her and me. We need more generosity. Yeah. Give what you have to someone. Happiness, love, and triumphs in need. All I see is a sense of this community. Broken, afflicted memories. We need